So, SciStacks, self-service containerised stacks for researchers. So, this is us, Martin Callaghan, David, Laurence, Grace and Andrew. Not necessarily in that order, no. So what was our motivation then? So our motivation was that we felt that new PhD students and postdocs very often join a group, need to get up and running with a core set of libraries, languages and applications, and they don't know where to start. But more experienced researchers need to be able to select a set of libraries and applications, and not have to be concerned about all those silly dependencies and versions and all that sort of nonsense. But we want our research stacks to facilitate reproducible research so they can build once and deploy anywhere. So our aims were to produce a web application that would provide a list of pre-built container stacks, that provides a build your own option, and that could generate a Docker file for further deployment. And ideally, this isn't ideally, to be able to launch that Docker file somewhere and or deploy to cloud or local resources. So technologies, we chose Flask Python 3. So Flask is a Python microframework, and we use Docker, which is a fairly common, very popular containerization technology, but it's also reasonably compatible with other containerization technologies such as Singularity. Tools and techniques, all the usual stuff, GitHub, Slack, Google Docs, branches, PRs, agile software development, so two teams, one team working on the Webby Flask end, another team working on the Docker testy end. Everybody contributed to documentation, short sprints, regular scrums, deliverable at the end of each one. So we actually did get something that worked. That's good. A little bit about what containers are, if you don't know. Think of it as a parallel universe that contains your Linux, your libraries, and you control it. You don't have to get IT to look after it for you. Excellent stuff. So that was a little mock-up. That's what we were planning to do. Ka-ching. And what we do have, and I'm going to hand over to Andrew here, if I can find the thing. There we go. I'm going to take you a quick guided tour.
So this is running on a web server on this machine, but I suppose could be deployed elsewhere. So what we present a user with is a set of environments or collections of software which can be used to build Docker environment or Docker container, which may be easily configurable for a lab or a department or a university or whatever. Essentially two parts. Front page gives you a way to decide what Docker file to get access to, and then we have a fairly straightforward and somewhat ugly render of that. And the idea for future work would be to stick a link down here somewhere that goes away and takes this Docker file and builds it elsewhere. So our set of options, configurable options at the top, are pre-built Docker files, and then you can select a set of bits and pieces to turn into Docker file. We've not got the rendering working for this yet, but that is the text that needs to go into our renderer. Several kind of cool bits and pieces in here. One is, have we got a shell? Possibly not. Shell, new window. Where are we then? SciStack.
No, just research stacks first.
Research stacks. Okay. So this is in a configuration file, config. So say I came along and introduced Red Hat, and had a fragment. So a lot of the work has been putting together fragments of these Docker files that we can then reuse in some of the context. So I can cp to, let's imagine, and I know what I'm doing. So if I knew what I was doing, I would change the content of that file so I had a fragment that could build Red Hat. Go back to the front page, and I can now build with that fragment as well. So this makes life easy, I suppose, for whoever it is who's running this, who might not be.
Which does prove, judges, that it wasn't just a mock-up. Okay, there is actual code behind the scenes.
I think we've got some more things to say.
And just a couple of things just to finish off. If I can find the right button with my wrong glasses on. There it is. So that was the mock-up. You've seen the tool in use. Did we get there? So almost. The select and build the Docker file works. So there is a little bit of further work. Obviously, we would like to build on that automatic test and build by GitHub and Docker Hub, and then move that to automatic deployment to wherever, and that wherever might be local PC, university HPC, clouds. We need more documentation, and actually we've got loads of little fragments that are useful. So,